Okay, so hopefully now you know why you're dividing the b value by 2 and squaring it. Now I'm just going to do some actual examples with you, okay? So the very first thing that I want you to do when you're doing a completing the square question is basically check if there's any a value other than 1. If there is, it needs to be factored out. If not, I want you to write it like this. So x squared plus 6x plus 12. We're going to kind of put the plus 12 over, not really worry about him, because this is what I want to deal with. This is the b value, so I'm going to take that on the side, I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'm going to square it. So what I need to add to this bracket to make it a perfect square is 9. But I can't just randomly add 9, so I'm going to also subtract 9. Okay? So then I'm going to bring this piece out of the bracket because I don't want to have to deal with him because I want to have a perfect square. Okay, so then I can write, this whole thing can be written as x plus 3 squared, and then minus 9 plus 12 is going to give me plus 3. So this question actually has a vertex at minus 3, 3, okay? A way to check if you've done this right. If you plug x equals 0 into this equation, you get 12. This should be the exact same equation as this, but in a different form. So when we plug in x equals 0 to this equation, 0 plus 3 is 3, 3 squared is 9, and 9 plus 3 is 12. So I'm feeling pretty good that this is correct, okay? So this next one is a little bit more complicated because it has an a value other than 1. So the first step is to take the a value out of the first two pieces. So I'm going to divide the a value out of each piece, okay? And I'm just going to leave the plus 2 over there, not too worried about him, okay? So then I take the b value and take that on the side, I divide it by 2, and I square it. So the number that I'm going to add is 4, okay? And I can't just randomly add 4, I need to also subtract 4. Okay, now this is where it gets tricky when the a value is other than 1. You want this minus 4 to come out of this bracket, just like we did here. We wanted the minus 9 to come out of the bracket because we only want this piece because that's what makes the perfect square. So I want this minus 4 to come out. But when he comes out, he's not plus 4. He's actually minus 4. He's actually minus 12 because everything in here is multiplied by 3. So in order to take him out of this bracket, first I need to do that multiplication. So I actually end up with 3 times x squared minus 4x plus 4. I take the minus 4 out, so it's minus 12 plus 2. Okay, so then I can complete the square here. So y equals 3, x minus 2 squared minus 10. Okay, now I don't know if we talked about how to figure out what's going to make the perfect square. I think it's intuitive to some people, but it's always just going to be half of the b value. So it's going to be x plus or minus half of the b value. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. Right here, negative 4 divided by 2, negative 2. Okay, so that's what is going to always complete the square. And we should always check. So plug in, go back to your original, plug in x is 0, I should get 2. So if I plug in x is 0, I should get 2. So 0 minus 2 is minus 2. Minus 2 squared is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. And 12 minus 10 is 2. So I'm feeling pretty good about completing the square.